2025 was one of the disaster year for South Sudan. A country in East Africa was in crisis since last decade for climate changes and unusual impact for the disaster. They were struggling for flood, they were struggling for the lands, they were struggling for to control the displaced. Near about 4 lakh people were displaced in 2025 only. Whenever we are ready to discuss in a conferences like United Nations climate change regarding these kinds of issues and the climate change displaced matter, this is actually the proof of crisis. This is actually the disaster of crisis. A country and the complete resources has been damaged by climate change. They have lost their homes, they have lost their friend, family and relatives. They also lost their agriculture lands and the earning resources. This is the actual disaster of South Sudan. This is the point of the global emergency regarding center point of the African crisis. This is not about the South Sudan crisis. This is about the more than million displaced crisis. This is about the more than 70% coastal crisis around the world from global south to global north. This is the real life crisis of climate disaster at present. But the people are surviving, people are struggling to survive. People are struggling for their own existence with their creativity. This is the time to regarding the discussions about the creating the innovations idea of South Sudan people. They are creating something with the nature. They are creating some artificial islands for their survival and their existence. Aqua communities in South Sudan. Around 2,000 people are trying to face the struggle of the climate crisis. They already lost their community, they already lost their communications, their homes and family and relatives. They are trying to make a survival destinations with use the artificial lands from the mud. They are trying to use the vegetables and shrubs from the mud and to use a artificial land for their survival. This is actually the disaster phase of climate crisis. They are facing the flood scenario around since 2010. This is actually the disaster and the crisis and there is no solution to survive. When we are discussing about climate financing and this country, the South Sudan, are facing the poorest feedback from the world. This is actually the disaster.